Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be on my Ryft Crawler build. Check out my playlist if you want to see more info, more videos on this particular truck. I really love this truck. I think it came out great. Made a few changes, turned what would be a rock bouncer into more of a crawler. It still does the rock bouncy kind of things, but it's definitely way more capable as a crawler in this configuration. So yeah, like I mentioned, if you want to see a really more in-depth build on this, check out my playlist, and I kind of cover everything that I put into this in multiple videos. So this is just going to be a running video. I made a few changes, show you guys in a second exactly what I changed up, and then we're just going to run this thing for a little bit and see how well it performs. Okay, so if you want the full info on this build, check out my playlists. I have a Ryft playlist, and you'll see all my previous videos on this truck there, and you'll get way more info. For now, all I did was originally my ESC was mounted up here, like in the stock position, but I am running a 3-gear trans. I had to make a little bracket to mount it, and it just never really fit all that great. So, and I was running some big, like 6,000 milliamp hour 4S batteries. Decided to go down to these little 2200 Ovonic little rectangle packs here, and that's plenty of runtime. I just carry a spare with me, so I was able to move my my ESC up to the battery tray here, and it fits in here nicely. I just have it on some Velcro, so if I do have to detach the cage from the skid here, I can just pop this out and slide it back, and everything stays with the chassis here. And plenty of room for the battery up here, just running one strap, and I think it works out great. It definitely saves a lot of weight, moves some weight down lower and forward as far as the ESC, keeps the battery weight way up forward and low. And I just made like a little filler piece out of Kydex here to fill in that gap where the ESC was. So that's about it, guys. Like I said, if you want to see more info on this, just check out my playlist, and yeah, you'll find it there. One thing, and very important thing, that I really didn't factor in when making these changes, right? When changing from a big 5,000, 6,000 pack to running this smaller pack, is the weight difference. And I think in some ways the weight difference is good. It's a really significant weight savings. I haven't weighed the batteries back to back, but I'm gonna guess it's in the range of 250 to 300 grams lighter, which is significant. I mean, it's like close to a pound lighter in this particular setup. And what I didn't really count on that having a negative effect on was the tire traction, in particular the foams, right? These are J-Concept ruptures, and I am running Proline dual stage foams just out of the package, no modifications, no changes, and they worked extremely well with the big heavy battery. With this lighter battery, I was struggling with traction, and I know that the J-Concept ruptures are some of the grippiest tires for at least my terrain in this area. Some of the best tires I've used, but I know they're really dependent on having the right softness of insert. So this ended up being a little bit too stiff of a setup just because I reduced the weight. So now I'm gonna have to go in and modify my inserts and make them softer, maybe change just the outer, leave the inner the same. Not sure yet. I'll have to experiment a little bit and see what ends up working out. Maybe I'll end up going with like a 3D printed insert. We'll see. But yeah, it's just, and at times, like right here, you know, traction really good, really good. But I've seen these tires work better. There were definitely some areas where I struggled with this, just for that reason alone. So I just wanted to mention that. Just keep that in mind if you guys are making big changes, that you may have to go back and revisit some other, some of your other setup, you know, choices, and just see what works. But right here, it's funny, man. Like this section here, I've taken a lot of crawlers on this exact line, like 10 scale crawlers, and just spent like 45 minutes there trying to make it up. And you know, that's a good test to see how well your truck is set up. And this thing just kind of laughed at it. It was literally first shot both ways. I purposely found a harder line to go up it, and it just walked right up it. And of course here, with running this on 4S with the Outrunner motor, it really is punchy. It just gives you that little bit of scale, rock bouncer ability. This I thought was a really cool line here, man. I almost thought it wasn't going to get it at first, and then it just pulled right up. It had just the right amount of belly clearance there on that rock. It was just a really satisfying little section there. Nothing too extreme, but I just thought it looked pretty amazing. And yeah, I love this truck, man. I always have a blast with this thing. It can be a little frustrating at times, especially if you're out with 10 scale stuff, because it's a little cumbersome. It's big, it's wide. Has a big wheelbase, so you got to have the right terrain for it. You can't go out and do your same like 10 scale lines with this. It's just going to feel a little bit clumsy and frustrating. It wants to always like straighten itself out. It doesn't like to climb up things on angles quite so much, and it's just because of the track width of this truck. So once you kind of get used to driving it, you know, and finding the right terrain for it, it is a blast, man. It's an absolute beast of a trail truck and a crawler, and I just really love it. I may eventually do like a rear steer on this. I think it would really help immensely with the maneuverability of this truck. Again, because of that wheelbase and track width, sometimes it can't get out of its own way, and it makes it a little tough to really get it in the right spot to kind of do a line that you're working on. And rear steer is just like complete cheating. It does have dig in it, so this does have a 3-gear trans with dig, which helps a lot. The only issue is, again, coming back to that wheelbase, the wide track width and these grippy tires, the dig almost doesn't really work well enough. Like, you lock up the rear wheels and the front wheels they just don't have the power of the grip to pull it around. I mean, I guess it's also like a weight bias thing. It doesn't have the most forward weight, but dig does not work that great on this truck. I think it's just like it just stays too planted. Like the rear doesn't want to pivot around. So it's worth having for certain obstacles for sure. It's definitely like a nice little added feature, but I've seen it work much better on other trucks. And I don't think there's much that I can do to change that on this truck. Again, I think it's so wide in the back that those tires just stay planted to the ground, and it's hard to really swing them around. There's a lot of like almost like leverage at work, you know. So it is what it is. This was a super cool climb. I always love this section. Really great views up here too of Manhattan out in the distance. Absolutely one of my favorite spots to come and crawl. Beautiful day. This was a little while back. I'm finally getting around to doing the editing and posting this up, so it was a beautiful late summer day. And yeah, man, really great truck. Love it. Check out my playlist. Catch you in the next one. Later.